Okay, let's make this train body. We'll start off by drawing this shape on the back and then extruding it. So I'm going to make a sketch. I'll make it on the front plane. Hide my planes. So I'm going to start by making a rectangle, and then I will use this point here to make this arc to cut off the top of that rectangle. So the width of the rectangle is going to be the total width of the train, which is 2 inches. Okay, now the next thing I'm going to do is make the thing centered. So I'm going to select that bottom line and that origin point and select a midpoint constraint so that now you can see it's the origin is in the middle of the bottom of our square. The width of our square is going to be 2 inches. And then we've got this arc up here that defines the top, and it has a radius of 2.35, and its center point is 0.375 above the bottom. So I'm going to get my center point arc tool because I'm determining this one based on the center. I'll go ahead and use this vertical constraint to have it centered side to side. And then I'm going from one side to the other. I just want to check, make sure it's stuck on there. And then I will put the radius, which was 2.35. And the height was 0.375. Okay, so now it doesn't matter that the top here is too long because I'm just going to use this region anyway. So I'm going to accept my sketch. I am going to extrude, and there's only one spot for it to pick to extrude, and the total length of the extrude is going to be 5.5 inches. So there's like the basic outside shape. Then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make a sketch on the front of our block we're going to use for a few things. One, to extrude, cut away this part, and then another one to make these 3 holes right here. So I'm going to select this front edge, make a sketch. And I'm going to start by making a horizontal construction line. And that is going to be this line right here. So that is 0.88 inches up from the bottom. I will dimension that. Okay, now we are I'm going to put some points on here. So there's one point that's in the middle, and then we had 2 points that were the same height, but kind of like that. Let's look at the measurements on those points. The middle one is at a height of 0.625. Get my dimension tool. 0.625. And then the other 2 are at a height of 0.125. And then let me scoot these over a little bit. From the side, the first one is 0.375 and the second one is 1.625. So from this side to this dot, 0.375. From this side to that dot, 1.6. 1.625. That didn't look right. 0.375 and 1.625. Oh, 1.625. What? Okay. The other thing we're going to do is we're going to make an arc up here to be this front circle here. Has a radius of 0.75 and it's going to attach to the horizontal construction line. So again, I'm going to use my center point arc tool. Make it vertical above the center there. Then start on the construction line and finish on the construction line. And that one has a radius of 0.75. And the height of the center there is 1.38. So from there to there, 1.38. Now, in order to cut this area out up here, we need to make lines that go around all of this. So here's how I'm going to do that. I'll get my line tool. Got to put one there over the construction line. Then I'm going to just go past this. And then just finish it off. And once you finish it off like that, you should be able to select that region right there. That's what we want to do right now. We are going to accept that sketch, do an extruded cut. We need to figure out the distance. How far back are we going to cut this? Well, let's see. The whole width is 5.5, or the whole length of this thing is 5.5, and we need to leave 1.75. So I'm just going to use my, you can use it like a calculator when you put in your dimensions. So I'm just going to do 5.5 minus 1.75. So my depth, 5.5 minus 1.75. And then we will accept. I'm going to rename this body right now. Okay, next we are going to make this little cutout on the back here. In order to do that, we need to know where the center of this arc is. And then it's going to have these two little horizontal parts coming out. So I am going to make a sketch on the side of this thing. I will start with my line tool. And I'll start out here, come over horizontal, then go up vertically. Then I'm going to come out horizontal, but I want it to be the same distance there. And then I'm going to get my arc tool. So one to start, get my arc tool. Click once to start, one to finish, and then we'll drag this out there. Boom. Then we can start putting some dimensions on it. The radius of this arc is 0.5. The measure from the center of the circle to the bottom is 1.75. The distance from there to there is 0.25. Also 0.25. Okay, it's giving me a contradiction because it's already vertical with this one, this point, the end point is. So I can just, I will delete that measurement. Okay, so then, well, what still moves? What still moves? It looks like this right here is also the center here is also 0.25 away from there. There we go. Then I'm also going to place a couple of points down here that we'll use later. So point, I'll put one here and then one horizontally. And then those are going to be these little side holes right here. So they are 1/2 inch up and then 1 inch forward and 4.5 inches forward. My dimension tool. Oops, made extra points there. .5 was their height. This guy was 1 inch away, and this guy was 4.5 inches away. Okay, we will go ahead and accept that sketch. And I'm going to do an extruded cut to remove all the way through this shape right here. So you can see it's cutting it out there. All right, so now we have made like the overall shape of the train body. The only thing we have left is to drill holes on the side and the top and on the front. But this note down here says we're going to round all the edges except for the drilled holes. So now would be a good time to round all those edges. It says to use a radius of 0.1, but I'm going to use a radius of 0.5 because I think it looks better. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to get my fillet tool, change the radius to 0.05, and then I'm just going to drag a box around the whole thing. All right, so now I'm going to start making these holes. So this hole in the back is needs a diameter of 0.25 and depth of 0.5. So I'm going to whip it around, and that was the very first sketch we made. So I'm going to make that sketch visible. Here's my hole tool. I'm going to select that point because that is the point that we used was it was the center of this arc, and it's also the center of this hole. So my diameter is 0.25, my depth is 0.5. So this one is diameter 0.25, depth 0.5, and we're good there. Go back and hide that sketch again. Next, we'll do the holes on the side here, which was the sketch. So hole, pick these 2 points. Now this one is going to go all the way through, and the diameter is 1/4 inch, so 0.25. Already at 0.25, so good. Check that. So we got that hole that goes all the way through. I'm going to go ahead and hide that sketch again. Then we have the sketch on the front. This one. So hole tool, we'll do these points. It's giving us a little error. Oh, we don't want it through. We want simple blind. And then the diameter of these holes is 0.125 and the depth is 0.125. 0.125, 0.125. Hide that sketch again. Okay, now the only hole that's left is the hole that goes on the top of this part. So we need to get a point up there. So the way I'll do that is we need to make a sketch, and we need our sketch plane to be riding right on top of the round part here. So the way we'll do that is I am going to select, I want this to be a plane that's parallel to the top plane. And I want it to go through this point at the top right here. So if I select those two things and then hit the plane button, it will create a plane for me right there. Okay, so now I want to select this plane and make a sketch. And all I need is a point that is on the midline, but 8.88 inches back from the front of the train. So there's my midline. So I just need to put it anywhere. I just have to click when that thing is lit up, yellow. And now dimension it to the front of the choo-choo, 0.88. Now we're done with that sketch. All we needed in that sketch was that point. Now we're going to do the hole tool. We are going to do, the diameter is 1/2 inch and the depth is 1/4 inch. So the diameter is 0.5, depth is 0.25. And then select that. All right, so now we just make it plastic. And we can make it a pretty color. You take off the lines if you want, so it looks cute. That's it.